guys? It's another episode of Fourth and Ward here. I'm Coach Adam Wardlaw. It's my brother Jack Wardlaw. If you've been following for a while, I'm out here in Texas coaching high school football. My brother coaches in South Carolina. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We are live streaming on YouTube right now if you want to join the chat. And our new episodes of our podcast come out every Sunday, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. And of course, we have the full videos on YouTube. Jack, you doing all right tonight?
Doing good. How are things in Texas? Y'all holding up all right?
Yeah, doing all right with the weather, man. It's been back and forth all week. I think we had yesterday some gusts of like 30 or 40 miles per hour, and then they said we were going to have hail and stuff about 3 a.m. this morning, and then I woke up in the middle of the night and it was quiet as a mouse outside. Um, it's always back and forth weather out here. Just as long as we don't have any tornado warnings, I'll be all right. How about y'all?
Yeah, we're good. I'm on spring break right now. We had rained a little bit today, but it cleared up. We got 70s, close to 80 degrees. So, I can't
There you go. I'll
complain.
take that. Yeah, I looked at the forecast. I think our next couple of weeks are going to be pretty nice, but we got a few rough weather days to get through. And it's not a good time. I'm working track meets this week. Our track season's
Oh,
kind of wrapping up. It's on the downward swing. I don't coach track, but we're hosting our district, which is our conference, is what we call it out here. So we had all 8 teams that are in our conference. They had the varsity meet Tuesday, so I got to have a sub take over my class, and I got to go out and run the discus area, and I got to use a little laser to measure off the distances on those discus throws, and got the same thing tomorrow for the JV, so it should be a good time. But how about
y'all do
y'all
it.
spring?
Y'all do track during the day?
If it's a track meet, yeah, like they kind of last a while. Sometimes they'll do them they might do if it's a Saturday or something, they might do the field events in the morning and then the running events later. Sometimes they split it up, but if it's like a big meet like this, yeah, they'll just usually do it during the day. We actually do a lot of sporting events where we usually got to get the kids out of class pretty early. Sometimes we'll have a game that's in our conference, but it might be a 2.5 hour drive on a bus. And for basketball at least, we'll start the sub varsity games at 5 o'clock. And so like this year we would run. Let's see how many games we would run. We had 2 freshman teams, the JV and varsity, so we'd run the 4 games all in one night.
Jeez.
Freshman A team, they'd start their game at 5. JV starts at 5:30 in the other gym. My freshman B team, they'd start their games at 6, and the varsity would start theirs at 7. We knock them all out in one night. But if you got a 2.5 hour drive and your game starts at 5, you got to get there by 4:30 for warm ups. So you're usually leaving school at 1:30, 2 o'clock, just depending on how long it takes your guys to get their uniforms and stuff together. Yeah, pretty often we'll have sporting events in the school day, and we'll have to miss some school time, get a sub or something like that. Uh, yeah, I know the coaches don't usually mind. But the worst part about that is the long road trips. The longest road trip I ever had to make on a school night, we had to go out to Lufkin, Texas. So it's like a 3.5 hour drive. But some of our school buses get governed at 55, so we're always saying a prayer that we get a bus that goes 65. Yeah, but of course that one trip we had to make out there on Thursday night, we were stuck on a 55 bus, and it took every bit of 3.5 to maybe even 4 hours. I can't even remember now.
That's
But
terrible.
so yeah, sometimes if it's like that, we'll adjust the start time, start the games a little earlier. That way we can get it done earlier, start the drive back earlier. But yeah, it's nothing to spend more time on a bus than maybe playing the games. We played a high school out of College Station, Texas this past year, and we'll have to make the return trip for the freshmen and JVs this coming year. But how we had it worked out was on the Thursday night, the sub varsity night. They just went ahead this past year and sent their JV and freshman teams all up to us on Thursday, and the varsity team for us went down on Friday to their place. So this year it'll flip, and
Uh-huh.
no matter if I'm doing JV or freshman, I'll probably end up having to make the drive down there, and that's about a 4 hour drive on a school night
That's terrible.
to play some
That's
sub varsity
terrible.
football. Yeah,
What's,
but it's pretty, it kind of builds some excitement. I swear every
yeah.
week I hear it's like a new chapter of a storyline. What's the furthest drive you guys have had to make?
This past season, we played Chapman first round of the playoffs, and that's only Spartanburg County, if you know the upstate of South Carolina, but maybe an hour. But see, here's the thing: I don't. So I help set up. I do our film setup and headsets, huddle sideline. We make sure we're good there, and so I get the joy of driving my own truck or, one of
Yeah.
the other coaches' trucks earlier. So I don't, I never thought when I first agreed to do it, because last year I didn't do it and I rode the bus. And, I didn't really think about it when I was agreeing to do it, but I'll be honest, I don't miss those bus rides sometimes. I really don't.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I remember when I used to work in South Carolina. Yeah, I was part of that same squad of 5 or 6 coaches, whatever it was, that had to go set stuff up early, and or get equipment there early. And it wasn't that bad getting to ride in the personal car up there,
It's
and
not bad.
you usually get reimbursed for mileage and stuff like that.
So we played that last year. BHP was the second round of the playoffs, right? And so it's getting late in the year. It's getting cold, and it was freezing cold. We're freezing the whole time, but as we're packing up to leave, I'm like, my truck's got remote start. So
Hey,
I'm
there you
like, I
go.
went ahead and hit that thing, let it heat up a little bit. I got in, the
Heck
seat
yeah.
was warm. I'm like, this ain't bad at all.
Yeah, that ain't too bad. Now, I remember out there when I used to work out there, the district usually had drivers for us. Out here, the coaches have to drive. So, unless it's like a super far trip, then we might get charter buses or something like that. But, I think back to some of those long
Charter,
trips. Yeah, like so
living lavish.
if it's a long enough drive and it's going to be a late night, like a 7:30 start for a varsity game, so it's going to be some ungodly time when we get back, we might charter. It's not always, but usually if it's a 2 hour or more trip, go ahead and charter. But
So
or a playoff game.
does the
Sometimes
charter
it's a playoff
bus
game.
I mean, it has the screens, the little TVs in it? Or do
Yeah,
y'all turn
yeah,
them
they
off?
got
Do
some
y'all
of
let
that.
them ride, or like what do y'all put
Nah,
on?
we just go in there silent. Nah, we don't usually
What about
have
on the way back?
no, usually hopefully everybody's asleep by then. But this past year where we had the iPads and stuff, usually we're passing around the iPads and all that to the coaches and all that on the trucks or on the buses. So we can be watching some kind of film on the way back and get started grading the film and all that. It's one less thing to do when you get back at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And
Yeah.
then we come in on Saturdays. What's y'all's work week look like during the week?
So in season, obviously you have practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You do a walk on Thursday, and then you got a JV game Thursday. Friday you got the game, varsity game. We're off Saturday, which is nice. I say off, but we don't have to come in. We typically do. So like our defensive staff, Coach Roland, our defensive coordinator, who I think we mentioned might be coming on here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We're always down to get some guests. If you guys are watching, drop a comment. Let us know
Yeah,
some guys we need to talk to. We prefer guys that have some great stories. We
yeah,
always
yeah.
down for a good laugh.
So what he'll do is he'll send out, our scout film to me and another defensive coach we have. We'll go through and ODK all the film because I mean, it's not done for us, and so we'll draw
But
some
yeah,
plays so that we're ready when we come in on Sunday to game plan and kind of get the scout book, everything all together. But we're usually only there for 3-4 hours on Sunday, and then we're done. So it's not too bad, but it'll wear on you come like week 8 or 9. You start to feel it, but
yeah, we do the 7 days in season, and it can be a grind. But if you're having a great season, it kind of turns into bliss.
yeah,
Uh, Year before this year, made state semifinals in 5A out here in Texas. So if you go 5 rounds deep, you're in it. Yeah, if you incorporate fall camp and stuff, I mean, you're right at 15, 20 weeks or something that you've been grinding 7 days a week.
that's a lot.
But when you get that far in the playoffs, though, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like you are
Yeah.
happy to be able to get to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually, like you said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll do our freshman practices in the morning. We'll do our JV and varsity in the afternoon, and Thursday, usually Wednesday, we finish up a little earlier. Monday and Tuesday are pretty long days for us, heavy install. And Thursdays, the whole staff basically it's split up between JV and freshman duties. Who's got to go where and who's calling, the freshman gold offense or the freshman black offense, the JV1 offense, JV2 defense. We got all these different responsibilities. And so really the only guys that stay back with the varsity for the walkthroughs and stuff are the coordinators on those Thursdays. And then, of course, Friday, it's all hands on deck. But Saturdays, we have our staff meeting at 7. We usually start off split already as offense and defense. And we'll watch the film back from last night. Usually we've already all watched it, staying up even later, watching it all again. We'll watch it all together, grade the film together as a defense or offensive staff, and get the grades on our guys, get stats put together, just kind of tidying up the logistical stuff from the night before, getting all your max prep stuff done and marking highlights and all that. And then the players arrive about, if they have to get treatment, they arrive about 9:30. And we start position film meetings at about 10 or so and wrap that up at about 11. And then we lift them on Saturdays. To the lift, we get it knocked out in about 30 minutes. It's nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
Just to give them some flexibility.
So
And
is
then
it is that it's required for them to be there, right? On Saturdays, the kids?
yeah, it is. It is strongly, strongly encouraged. It's basically required, unless you're going on a college visit or, heaven forbid, something's going on in the family. You need to be there, get that recovery lift in, get the film watched.
Because that's
My f- my
our
fa-
sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah, I was just saying, my favorite part about Saturday is right after that lift, we have an awesome booster club, and they come in and they cook so much food, and all the coaches, kids, and all of them, we all eat together, watch
Now
whatever
we're
college game day. Yeah, it's a good time, dude. Call it brotherhood brunch. And then we turn the kids loose after that, so they're home by 12:30 usually on a Saturday, and
right.
then we stick around, and now we flip the page and we get started breaking down, or we continue breaking down whoever we're playing that next week. And I try to always have whatever games we already have in huddle already broken down. So when Saturday comes around, I'm just breaking down the new game we get. And then hopefully I'm at the house before 3
Yeah,
o'clock or so. But
I got you.
I don't know. It just
So
depends, man.
we can't. Our district won't, doesn't allow us to make a required mandatory practice or whatever on a Sunday, and so we can't force them to be there. Obviously, like you said, it's strongly encouraged.
But yeah,
But yeah,
strongly encouraged.
they have a little recovery lift, and then we do a little film with them. But yeah, we don't do anything on Saturday, and that's nice compared to how y'all do it. But it blows my mind how many teams y'all have, because
But yeah,
you have a varsity team, two sub
two
varsity,
JVs, two freshmen. Yeah.
so you
And
have
then you go
5
to,
teams.
yeah, you go to some schools, man, like they might even have a C team for their freshmen. Allen High
Damn.
School, of course, they got, good Lord, I don't know, 400 or 500 football players. I don't even know. So yeah, it's a logistical deal. And then the funnest part is whenever your opponent that you're playing doesn't have a second freshman or a second JV. That's when it becomes very interesting if you can schedule a game. So we've had several times where whoever we're playing, they've got a freshman team, but they don't have a freshman B team. So we might send our freshman B team off to play some random opponent. In the past, it's been schools that they already played earlier that year, and I'll never forget this past year, actually, one of the schools we were playing didn't have a second freshman team, or maybe it was after the grade reports came out and a lot of them were ineligible. I can't remember the details. So we scheduled the freshman B team game that week to be on Wednesday night. So now it's game days Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it's against a totally random opponent that you don't know what they're going to be running when you show up. It is literally a crapshoot. So after the varsity practice finished up, and again, we get done on Wednesdays kind of early, about 5:30 or whatever the time is. And so I had to hit the road in my personal car, right, and drive on up. It was about a 40-minute drive to get up to where the gold team game was at. And we had already sent a couple of coaches with them just to kind of get them warmed up and stuff, because we knew the rest of the coaches would be coming in on two wheels. But it was quite a game. Yeah, it was a struggle to get some points for both teams, and we were losing, or we gave up a touchdown late on some junky play. They broke a tackle, and as their kid was crossing the goal line, he does like a little celebration deal. Well, my understanding was if you're like taunting before you score, like they can take back the touchdown.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's a rule.
yeah,
So this kid's doing this. It's obvious. So I'm like hauling. I coach defense. I'm mad that we gave up a touchdown anyway. But I'm running. I'm asking the ref, like, is that not we calling that back, right? Like kids out there just He's like, man, he ain't hurt nobody. He's just out here having fun. I'm like, no, like tell me what the rule says. And he's
yeah.
like,
Read the
oh,
book, man.
yeah. He's like, spirit of the law, man. He ain't trying to hurt nobody. I'm like, tell me what the
Come
rule
on.
says, dude. Like,
Yeah,
so anyway, I may or may not have said he voted for Kamala Harris. He's a spirit of the law guy.
we have a. I've had a few run-ins like that with refs. It just, and I have a lot of appreciation for what they do. They're
Oh, it's a tough job.
always catching it from both sides, and they just have to keep doing the job. But man, I swear, it got to the point, right? So where I ordered a rule book, and I have been reading it all off season, just studying, so that when they try to pull something, I can be like, no, check section 4-3,
Flex
bullet
on him,
B.
yeah.
That's wrong or whatever. But it's a tough job. I get it, but
It's
it always
tough. They
feels like
hear
they
from
could be
all
better.
angles. I'm not going to ever really say anything to the ref because I know, first of all, we're in a ref shortage and
Yeah.
what we got's what we got. But there's sometimes it's just egregious and you're like, what are we doing?
It's like,
Especially
man.
basketball. I'm never going to really say anything to a ref in basketball because, first of
Nah,
all, like
yeah.
I coach freshman or JV basketball. So, like, you're usually not getting the cream of the crop anyway. And it's not going to change anything. Those guys, they've
Yeah.
already made their decision. So I try not to usually ever talk to refs.
There was a funny thing. So it wasn't me talking to him, but we had a ref at a basketball game, right? We had forget who we were playing, but we had our student section was, they're rowdy, but they weren't doing anything crazy. And I work some of the games as like a admin on duty or whatever. I'm not even working this game. I'm just there to watch. And I look over and I see the ref talking to one of our kids. I'm like, that's probably not good. So I start walking over there, just casually walking, and I hear the ref say he's about to throw the entire student section out. And so I'm like,
Bold
well,
strategy.
that's bold. Game goes on for a little bit more, and these kids are being high school kids. He heard something he didn't like. He turned around again, and if you say, he said, looked at him in the eye and was like, if I hear, I don't even remember the word, but if I hear this word one more time, you're all gone. So naturally, being some high school kids,
Well, yeah, they're going to say it. That's daring them to say it.
like 10 of them start yelling it, right? And sure enough, he said, all right, you're all gone. Get them out of here. So here I am escorting 30 kids out this door, and I'm not even supposed to be working. And
It's
you would
supposed to be
think,
an off night for you.
right, you would think a ref would have thicker skin, and I'm not blaming him at all. I don't know what transpired, but you'd think he wouldn't be like that offended or that pushed by whatever kids are saying in the stands,
Well, you
But
would
whatever.
think they would understand that if you entertain it, they're just gonna keep going.
Worse.
Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be worse. Like
Yeah.
if you show it any attention, unless it's
Yeah.
so egregious, you got to say something.
Right. Right.
But if it's something tic tacky, then you bringing attention to it's just gonna make them say it more.
Yeah. And I think they were calling him, not even him. I think it was a kid on the other team, like Shaq, calling him Shaq, like Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, because probably a big
And
guy, right?
yeah, and
That's
I
nothing crazy,
guess maybe he thought they were talking about him, because he was a bigger dude too. But I don't know, man. It was crazy, but
man. I don't know why that made me think of this, but have you ever called a kid by the wrong name?
all the time, yeah. Or it's gotten to the point now where I just don't even try. If I'm not 100% sure, I'm just like, "What's up, man, dude?"
Or buddy? Buddy's
Yeah,
always a good one.
he walks up, there he is. Just don't even say his name. But yeah,
Like, I
no,
would like to say I'm pretty good with names, but just sometimes on the fly, it's just the recall ain't what it used to be. So yeah, I'll usually throw out the, "Hey, what's up, bud?" Like, a little fist bump or something. Plus, we got so many daggum kids, like, it adds up. I mean,
yeah,
I
no,
think this past year, I think we had 250 in the program. So on any given day, if we got 250 football players, if I teach also 100 kids in a day,
yeah,
kids in the hallway, you name it, like interacting with so many people, like it adds up. Like, but I just
yeah,
remember, I don't know if my brain's getting older or what, but I've always been pretty solid with names. Once I learned it, I got you.
yeah. That's how I am. I've been caught a couple times. I've had kids actually be like, I'll just say, "What's up? How you doing?" Because like I recognize you,
Yeah,
and these aren't football kids. These are just students in the hall, and they're like, "You don't know my name, do you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I do." And
I
then
got
they're
you,
like,
dog.
"All right, what is it?" And I'm like, and I give it my best shot, and it may be wrong, or I'll just act like I got a phone call and walk off, something. But I mean, they don't understand. So I teach health and PE, right? So I got some of my classes have 50 something kids in them, and so I got upwards of 150 kids a day, football kids on top of that, weightlifting
Yep.
kids on top of that. It's a lot going on, man. I can't remember.
Yeah, and
I'm
we ain't
good with
getting any
names,
younger,
but
man.
if I forget, sorry. I mean, I'll learn it, but just give me some time.
Well, heaven forbid I learn somebody's name the wrong way too. Like usually I always think of like some kind of nickname or something to like
Yeah.
help me just, but then I end up just calling that kid whatever that nickname is like the entire
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Like, gosh, we had this one kid. I can't even remember what his actual name was, but it sounded a lot like Tomahawk. So literally till the day like probably till this day, I'm gonna always call him Tomahawk anytime I see him, just because his real last name, I just remembered it a whole different way, and there's nothing that's
Yeah.
gonna change that.
Has there ever been a kid where you knew his name before you met him, just from like stories of other, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, the legends that kind of follows
yeah.
some. So one of the interesting things is out here is our middle school games get played on Monday and Tuesday nights.
Mm.
So seventh grade ABC team, if they got it, is Monday night. Eighth grade ABC team is all Tuesday nights. So those middle school guys are coaching sometimes 6 games in 2 days, like just depending on the staff they have available and stuff. You want to talk about some guys trying to remember names? Like they at least got smart and put some last names on the
The
helmets, to
tape?
help them out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the depth chart is going to match whatever it says on that tape, and because they've got to
Yeah.
have now 3 depth charts just to make sure it don't look like a crap show trying to get special teams out there. Like trying to get your special teams right in a junior high or freshman JV football game, like that's a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah, they call it yeah, they call it special teams for a reason. It's a special group of kids. You gotta you never know who's gonna be out there sometimes.
And heaven forbid, like a kid like totally screw up on what team he's supposed to be on. And probably like you guys, we walk through it like
Yeah.
Wednesday mornings with the freshmen. Like we go through all the special teams. We do it again in a walkthrough Thursday morning. Like it's been done twice before game day, but somebody always screws it up. And we
Yeah.
only got 10 on the field, or we got 12 on the field, and then you just look like a fool. But
Yeah.
that's when you usually deal out the punishment. But
You got the
I
kid
want,
just sprinting on last second looking frantic.
yeah, yeah. Then like you're gonna bust his chops. What's your go to, like, what do we call them? Reminders. Yeah, we used to call it punishment back in the day. But what's your go to reminder if a kid screws something up in practice or a game?
Yeah, so I coach D line, right? And so, going off the ball is like the first thing. Don't move. I don't care what they yell, if they're talking about your mama. I don't care, right? And so every drill we do, I'm down there with the ball. I'm yelling at you. I'm trying to get you to go. I'll trick you. I'll be like, "Hey, man, go ahead. You're good. Go, dude. We're waiting. Go." And I try to reinforce it that much because it's important. And so when they jump, they still do. I mean, they're high school kids. I keep it classic, man. Up downs, whole
Oh,
group,
dude.
up downs, baby.
Yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about. Up downs build character. That's what I tell
Yeah,
the kids.
yeah.
We have those morning practices, and so we start stretch with the freshmen. We open the locker room at 6:45, so we probably start stretch at 7:15. Well, half these kids stay up till 3 a.m. the night before.
On the
On the game, dude. Ball is life, 2K.
Yeah,
And
try
so
me
they
on
got,
NCAA. You don't want no smoke, kids. I'm trying
yeah,
to tell you.
they got no energy at 7:15. Yeah, because we want them to, after we hammer that whistle, do high knees. Like you better clap. Like your toe better be behind the line. Better have some juice about you, which is hard to get out of them because of all those things we
Oh,
just talked about. So I always like to tell them, the best alarm clock is some up downs in the morning. So if you don't
that gets you
clap, like
going.
we're all doing some up downs. But
Yeah.
Matt, I just remember like bear crawls back in the day were a good go to.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And so I have I just call them mat drills. That's just what I've heard them called. But it's basically we do some bear crawling. I'll have you just bear crawl in place, moving your feet, point, you gotta roll, all kind of stuff like that. But those will get you going, man. Those are a good
Well,
one
that'll get the
too.
heart rate up, and you got to pay
Yeah.
attention. Like you can't just
Yeah.
mindlessly do it. Like you got to pay attention.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the snakes? Like having the kids like snake the whole field,
Yeah.
like as
Yeah.
a punishment
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
God, that was a tough one. Bleachers,
We had
always a classic.
We have we made a kid, or not a kid, multiple kids with, if they did something at school or whatever. It's basically, you got 100 yards, and I won't say what it's some people call it, but
Yeah.
it's 100 yards, and every five is an up down, right? So you sprint five up down, sprint five up down, sprint five up down the whole time. That's one, right? So you may have five or whatever, however many you got to do, but they hate that one. It was funny. So we had two kids, JV kids, who had an altercation, right? At football practice,
Fun times.
maybe in the locker room or something. We caught it, we got him, whatever. We're gonna deal with it. So they were fighting over something stupid that a ninth grader would fight over a girl that he'll forget about in a week,
Yeah,
something
that girl,
dumb.
man, love of his life.
And so it was funny. He made them hold hands, not just grab hands and run together the whole time. He's
Nice.
like, "You're gonna be friends by the end of this, by God, because you're holding hands the entire time." But
That's one way to mediate it.
Yeah, and they never fought again, and they're pretty good kids. I guess they just need to do
Everybody
that's
has their moments, you know.
yeah, it gets that way for everybody sometimes, but
I'll never forget when I was in college. Like if you screwed up, like cut class or you were failing or whatever, it was always Wednesdays at 5 o'clock, and we called it the block house. It was like a little storage building at the practice fields where I went to college, and you just had to start running. You were just running laps at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, to be there at 5 o'clock, you're getting up at 4:30. The worst part is after the five, if that got done at 6, like you probably had lifts like right after that. Then you got practice that afternoon. And I just
yeah,
remember that was so miserable.
yeah.
When you were at Clemson, what were some of the go-to punishments that you were seeing?
Yeah, well, what I liked, one thing they did, I believe they called it accountability groups. They may have had a clever Dabo Sweeneyism name for it, but it was basically, you got points. You were in a team, maybe 6, 8 guys. And at the end of practice, they would call you up. Coach Sweeney would be in the middle. He'd be like, all right, team one, y'all are good. You don't have any today. Everybody did what they were supposed to, held each other accountable. Grades are good, no cutting, made every practice, yada, yada. Team two, wow, this guy really cost y'all. Y'all got 15, and it was just gassers across. Yep,
God,
just
not the gassers.
after practice. So you've gone through a
Uh,
full Division I college level practice against Dexter Lawrence or whoever, and now you got gassers because homeboy over here didn't want to go to class. He skipped his
man.
biology
Yeah.
in the news class or whatever it was. But
Yeah.
yeah, I really
Can't be
like that.
those after practice gassers, like they hit different. Like I remember when I was my red shirt, it might have been my sophomore year or redshirt freshman year, whatever, second year of college. We had this thing where, if you didn't get snaps in the game or whatever, that following week after practice, you had to do some extra conditioning. Well, I'm a scrub. I'm a practice dummy, right? So I'm not ever going to really get any snaps in a game. So I'm going to always have to do this extra stuff. Dude, so you go through the whole practice, like you just talked about, probably lifted that morning, probably been at meetings since 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then now you got to go run these gassers afterwards. Dude, I have never, I was out of breath so much I was wheezing. Like, I've never wheezed like that in my life. I sounded like Squeaky from the Toy Story movie, like the little
Yeah,
penguin
yeah.
guy. Like,
Little
it
exercise
was,
induced asthma or
dude,
something.
it was bad. Like, just brutal. Brutal, brutal,
Well,
brutal.
it's crazy. Like speaking of like, you've had a long day already and you're having to do it. I don't think a lot of people realize like what a typical day is for, a college athlete. And I imagine it's the same across all sports, but football. So my roommate in college played, right? And I'm talking, he was gone before I even got up for class. He had already gotten a lift in, had already done, had met with the nutritionist, got his meal in, had already had a meeting, like did all these things, had to go to class, was done by 2:30 because he had more meetings. He had to go to the trainers or whatever. And then he had practice. And then after he went to tutoring. And it's like, I don't think people realize that it's a job. Like it
Oh yeah,
is.
all the kids, they want to go and go to big time, go to the
Yeah,
Clemsons and Alabamas and Georgias and all that kind of stuff. But they don't realize it is a commitment. Like,
it is a
you know,
lot.
and I was just at a little 1AA school, and it was still like you just mentioned. I mean, we would have our lifts were at 6, 6:15,
Yeah.
whatever the time was. You get done with the lift at 7. Well, then you got to go to the dining hall, get some breakfast because you got 8 a.m. classes because you had to schedule all your classes to be done before noon because you're going to start your film and all that at 2, 3 o'clock because you got practice at, go on from there. But
Yeah.
those days last for, and just you're so tired, those 8 a.m.s. Like you're just sitting there like half asleep, like in history class or something, trying just to pick it up. But
That's one perk for me. It was my favorite perk probably was that, I didn't play there. I was just working there with football, but even still that you got priority registration because,
yeah,
players needed first pick. So it aligned with the football schedule, yada, yada. But for me, it was a job. So like I had kind of relatively set times. And after that, I was good. I mean, one semester, I thought it was a good idea to schedule all of my classes on Tuesday, Thursday. I'm like, shoot, I got 3 days off every week.
it can't be that.
But then you're
So
sitting
you
in
thought.
4 straight hour-and-a-half long classes, and you're like, "This is miserable, man. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
hate
tough,
this."
dude. You got to find that balance. Like, I think the
Yeah.
best schedule I ever had in college, kind of like you said, I don't think I had any classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then maybe Friday, I only had like one, and it was kind of early. So you just kind of knock that out and you got the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Mondays we had to make them. Uh, that was our lab days. You know, we got told you're going to take your labs on Monday, you know, because they only offered them in the
Mhm.
evening or whatever the thing was. Because then right after labs get done at 6:45, we're going to have night practice at 7:30 is the start time, and we're going to get done at almost 10 o'clock or whatever time
Yeah.
was. Yeah, there's always so many ways to make it go. I'll never forget though, like the best meals in the world were after those early morning lifts or whatever the things were, like
Yeah,
just to hit
and
hit that dining hall after getting that work done, like
you
it
know
hits so different.
what was even better is eating that same meal, but not having to work out before it, because that's what I did, and it was fantastic. I just got to go have a good breakfast. You had to go for you were already up for an hour and a half working out or whatever, and I'm just over here smacking down some waffles, just living the dream, you know?
Oh, and it's college, like you're not sleeping as much as you should, like taking care of yourself. Like you
Oh
are
my
just
god.
running on caffeine and nicotine and
Yeah.
adrenaline, like whatever keeps you going, like that's what you're running off of.
Now
I'll
it's
never
like I have
forget.
a 1 hour I miss, like, an hour of sleep, and, like, I'm tore up for, like, 2
I'm
days.
wrecked. Like I'm not gonna recover till the weekend, maybe. Like it just
Like,
keeps.
I used to wear Whoop, like, the health tracker thing. I
Yeah.
had to stop wearing it because it said I slept, like, my recovery score is a 37 every night. I'm like, "Alright, I can't do this." Like, I
I
don't need to
never had a
know that I'm
whoop.
sleeping like crap.
I was about to say I never had a whoop. I'm guessing that's not good.
No, it's not. 100 is a good one, and so, like, I'm
Gotcha. Far from it.
30s,
Yeah, you ain't passing.
and we had a overnight practice thing, right, with our guys, football guys in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously, you're locked in a room with a bunch of high school kids. You're not gonna get that much sleep. I knew that going
Wait, so y'all
in.
had the kids
We
stay?
Yeah, we had practice. They showered up in the locker rooms or whatever. They stayed the night, and we had practice in the morning, like a mini camp almost, right? I looked at my Whoop recovery score,
Dude, that sounds
1%.
miserable.
It
Like,
was
was it just kind
literally
of just to do something different? Like, is that what it was kind of all
yeah,
about?
just camaraderie, and I think it was going into our first day of pads, and, just
All
something to
right,
spice it up
all
a little
right.
bit.
I respect that. There is something. I've always said this. There's something special about just a group of dudes going through crap together. Like, they
There
just
is.
kind of it just kind of meshes.
There is.
That's one of the reasons when they're young, sub varsity guys, like to give them a heavy dose of some up downs or
Yeah.
we're gonna do a little whatever drill where there's some board drills or something like
Yeah.
get a little geeked up because I do think it helps kind of mold those guys together, make them a
Well, and,
cohesive
like,
unit.
even me, I think back to high school ball for me, and, I don't remember specific games. Sure, a couple I remember that were big or whatever. I remember hanging out with my buddies all summer,
Yeah,
going
yeah,
through the going through the ringer, that's what it's about, and I think it's important to kinda help make
dude.
those moments if you
Nothing
can.
beat nothing beat hitting up. I don't know why I'm talking about food so much. Nothing beat hitting up that pizza buffet like after a summer workout. We start our summer workouts at what 7? Was that the start time? Might have been earlier. I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
I think it was 7.
So probably done at 8:30. By 9 we were done, right? But the pizza buffet we knew opened at like 10:30. And so we just kind of hung out in the parking lot like you said. Then we're going to ride down the street, pay $7 to get the buffet with the
Yeah.
water to drink and just eat 30 pieces of pizza.
Yeah, you couldn't beat that, man, and we used to do it. It's probably a terrible day before a game meal, but we would go after our Thursday walkthrough. I think you might have been
Yes,
gone, or no,
yes. No,
you were
I
there
remember I
still.
remember I remember doing that.
And we went one time my junior or senior year, and about 8 of us went in there and tore it up. I mean, like, they stopped bringing refills on the drinks, they just brought the pitcher full of Dr. Pepper, whatever we're drinking, and just left it there. And so it was awesome. But we left, and I remember you remember the owners that had it when we were there, but they told us they were like, "Yeah, man, we're happy to have y'all. Next time, just call us and give us a heads up so we can have some pizza
So
ready."
we can like feed these 15, 20 high school kids that are eating
Because this
30 slices apiece.
the family in the corner got no cheese bread because it was gone the second they put it down.
Oh man. Yeah, you can't beat that. Speaking of food, I don't know why this might just be a food episode. I don't know.
You just
Like,
hungry, I
what's
think.
your yeah? Probably like I'm trying to do this fasting stuff, where I eat like the one meal a day. I don't know. I'm ornery by normally I'm asleep by this time of night, but yeah. What's your go-to pregame meal? Like, if you could have your pick pregame meal, what's it gonna be?
Pre-game something light, but I'll tear it up after the game. But maybe just like a sandwich,
But yeah, that's nothing.
something light. Nothing crazy. Like we have some churches, and I'm thankful for them. It's great. They come in and bring a meal. It's like spaghetti, and it's delicious. Don't get me wrong, but I can only eat so much of it because I'll have heartburn or whatever. The high school kids will be fine,
Yeah,
but
they're young. It'll
I'll
be
be
all right.
struggling if I eat,
It'll be out of
an
them in
Italian
like
dinner.
15 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy. But speaking of that, we had one kid one time. We had steaks, right? That's everybody's favorite week when the
Oh,
steaks come in,
ooh, yes, sir.
or no, pork chops. One of the
Either
two.
way, can't go wrong.
It's delicious. Tore it up, right? Well, we go out for. We had already done pregame warm ups. We had just ran out. We're getting ready for the kickoff, and I look over on the field and I see he's a pretty good ball player, just puking. I'm like violently throwing up on the field. I'm like, what is going on? And I look to the right. There's another one. And I'm like, what is happening? And then this kid next to me is like, Coach, will you let me in the locker room? I got to go to the bathroom bad. And I'm like, what? And I'm not saying they gave us food poisoning, but it,
Yeah, there's a
it
lot of
wasn't
signs
good.
pointing towards it. The food got everybody sick. Dude,
I
I'll
was
never
fine.
forget. Well, some people are built different. Like, we'll have some pregame meals and you get the extras or whatever, and that's what the
Yeah.
coaches are eating on in the office for like the next few days.
Yeah.
Me and our defensive coordinator, we catch so much crap because, I mean, we're like buzzards, dude. Like, if it's in that fridge in the coach's office, like, we're gonna eat it at some point, whether it be a week, 2 week later, you
Oh,
name it.
God, no.
No, dude, I've done some questionable meals.
2 weeks?
Yeah, before this year, my schedule's pretty nice. I've got enough time to where I can run home, fix myself lunch, get back to work, and it's all good. But years past, I got that 30 minutes. I gotta go find something fast. I'm eating the last episode. I talked about all those PB&Js I was eating one year. One year it was like just straight pregame meal leftovers, whatever I could literally scrounge together. Dude, cane sauce from like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, still
No.
just using it. Nah, live to fight another day. What
You're
don't kill you
eating
make you stronger.
chicken? You're eating like week old fried chicken?
Well, if you nuke it, you throw that in the microwave for about a minute and a half. It
As long
cooks
as
all
it
that
hits,
stuff out. If it
yeah,
hits
you
that
get it up
internal
there.
temp, like we'll get the
That's
meat.
true, but
Dude, it's no, that's I've put myself through some questionable. I've learned over the years I might need to tone it down some, but
yeah.
definitely early on I was like, nah, dude, I'll be all right. I'll eat this freaking
I mean,
potato with brisket on it from a month ago.
I respect the hustle, but you know what I eat for lunch every day?
What's that?
Full lunch, baby. Whatever they serving up in the cafeteria.
Oh, dude,
Tear
you
it up.
still? Is it
Tear
as
it
good
up.
as you remember?
Wash it down with the chocolate milk. Well,
Well, dude,
everything's
you are
different
going
now.
full send.
I'm gonna be in the trenches with you. If we're gonna ride, I'm riding with you, kids. All right, let's do it. But
All right, so what's the best? What's the best
stuffed
cafeteria
crust
meal out
dippers.
there? That
To
didn't
this
take long.
day, stuffed crust dippers to this day. It has not changed since I've been there as a student, and it will not change. One week they didn't have them. They tried to do this alternate stuffed crust dipper thing. Wasn't having it. And I said, no, cook the old ones. I need the old ones. Like I know you got them back there
Bring them
because
back.
our cafeteria manager is incredible.
Make dippers
She
great
does.
again.
Yeah, they need them there. I mean, it's a weekly thing or like a 2 week rotation, so I have to wait a week in between anyway. But she knows they're my favorite, and I kid you not, I'll walk out of there. She has to double tray it for me. We got those little foam trays. She has to double it up because I'm gonna have at least 4 orders of dippers just in a pile. And these kids looking at me, and I'm like, "What's wrong? Like you could have done this too. Don't be jealous."
Yeah, don't hate. If you broke, say something.
Oh, they just came out with a new thing. I think it's a cheese cruncher. I think is a new thing on the market.
Oh, cheese cruncher.
So it's basically a mozzarella stick, essentially. But you ever been to Chili's and had their mozzarella sticks, the wide, flat ones, kind of?
Oh yeah, dude. You get those in the Nashville hot, dude. It is
Yeah, yeah.
money.
So
Part of that
it's
triple
like,
dipper.
yeah, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna celebrate my birthday. I have Chili's for lunch by myself.
Happy early
But
birthday, by the way. We might be recording close to your birthday here in a little bit.
it just hit, actually.
I
Yeah,
was about to say, yeah, you're an hour ahead back home.
it just hit for me. So I'm 29 right now.
Boom, happy birthday.
I appreciate it. As you get older, they don't really carry the same weight.
That's what I try to tell the kids in class. Like after about 22, really
Yeah,
don't
just
care
count 'em.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a mozzarella stick and it's got the marinara on the inside here. But here's the secret. Here's what you do. If you work in a school or if you're a teacher or, paraprofessional, whatever, the people you need to be tight with are those cafeteria workers because they will take care of you if you treat them right. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I go in there and I'm like, I'm gonna have the cheese crunchers, right? And again, our cafeteria manager is incredible. She's like, "You want the special ones?" I'm like, "You know it, baby. Go ahead." And
Lay it on me.
she got them extra crispy, like air fried them a little bit, and she gave me a side like bowl of marinara sauce to dip them in.
Dude, she's taking care of you, man.
She's the best.
You got the
She's
friends
the
in the right
best.
places.
Got to, man. Got to.
I don't think I've eaten cafeteria food since, gosh, probably COVID, and we had to eat it in the classroom with our kids, which was awesome in some regards because I would always, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I was like, hey, everybody's getting free lunch because of COVID, like whatever was going on, everybody's eating free school lunch. If you don't want to eat all of it or don't want to eat it at all, feel free to go get it anyway. I'll take care of it.
Bring it to
And
me.
bring it on down. We're sitting in here, killing time anyway for this 30-minute lunch
Yeah.
break. But
I do that
when
still to this day.
when I moved out to Texas, have you ever had a Crispito?
A Crispito?
Crispito, that's what it's called.
I don't even know what that
So
is.
I guess maybe it's just a regional thing. I don't know. So imagine, obviously it's some Mexican food, right? But it's like a mozzarella stick maybe, but it's got like taco meat inside of it. And
Yep,
it's
I'm
like,
in.
and it's crunchy. Like
Sign me up.
I doubt they deep fry it, but they bake it to a point where it's crunchy. And then they always gave you the little queso cup to go with it. And so you're just able to dip it in there. Dude, money. One of my favorite school cafeteria food
Mm,
items. Didn't even know it
mm.
existed until I moved out here 5 years ago. I
I
guess
still
growing up,
do. I still do the, you know, so everybody at our school is free reduced lunch. They all get it for free. They don't have to pay for it, right? And so I'll see a kid that brought his lunchbox. I'll be like, "Hey, come here. Do me a favor." I'm like, "Why don't you go up there and get a plate, get some dippers, and, banana, whatever." He's like, "Oh, no, I brought my lunch at home." I'm like, "You're not hearing me. Like, go get a plate, get the dippers, bring it here. We'll take care of it." And so I still do that to this day. If I need that fifth set of dippers. But yeah, it's
when duty calls.
gotta do what you gotta do, man. It's tough out here.
So, you get into college, right? And you work for Clemson's football team. What were some of the meals like there? Uh, whether it was a road trip or night before. What's some memorable food y'all had there?
Yeah. So when they opened that new facility, right, the Reeves complex has a built-in cafeteria, and part of that is your own dedicated staff cooking stuff. Well, you don't talk about post-game meals, right? During camp, all right. So you're in heat of the day, whatever. You coming in for dinner after a long day. I'm talking they have like steak, lobster. They had steak and lobster at some point. And I don't mean like
My
you get
gosh.
one order. It's buffet style. So buffet lobster, good lobster too. Like, cause you got, an incredible chef back there too. But, I mean, they used to do a thing called family dinner night on Wednesday nights where, um, you know, I think players would invite a professor or a teacher to come join them, but all the coaches' families, staff's families, everybody's there. So we would go up and it would be, I mean, they had like chicken cordon bleu, like
Ooh,
options. I'm talking
eating good,
options.
dude.
And then
Eating
in the
good.
end, a freaking hot fudge sundae bar to cap it all off. It was
Dude,
delicious. No, I mean,
bon
the food was
appetit.
insane. And it like, you go to a bowl game, you're in a hotel obviously for like, up to a week, whatever. And it was the same in Jacksonville actually. They have like the ballrooms in the hotel where they have set up catering. And so 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, you just walk down from your hotel room, go to this ballroom, and it's the same kind of thing. You got, whatever it may be, steak and potatoes or whatever, and you just kind of eat, go back up to your room. I mean, The
Yeah, you
money that
just
goes into food at that level is insane. But
yeah, that's a far cry from like just the meals I remember having. If it was a home game when I was in college, like we would still go to the dining hall. We just would have
yeah,
this hour and a half at the dining hall. It would just be the team in there, the coaches and all that. If it was a road trip, like, we'd usually get like the catered little box meals or whatever.
yeah,
Probably the best food came though when I started working for the team, and I would start getting the little vouchers for meals at the little hotel restaurants and stuff like that.
yeah.
That was when it kind of got a step up. Probably the best when I played, and I think we made a trip to Wake Forest my sophomore year, and I got to travel for that game because one AA school going to a FBS school, they get to bring a little more guys on the travel roster, let them experience it, all that good stuff. And there was no chance I was getting to the game, so I knew like, hey, I'm just here. I'm gonna help out. Like I'm just chilling.
We'll put in some work.
Yeah, like it's so they bust out the like Olive Garden spread, catering style, like just all you can eat pasta, salads, breadsticks.
Yes,
Dude went to town, like you said, got sick, but I mean it's all good. Like
worth
what do
it.
I got to do? Just hang out on the sideline, watch the Demon Deacon come rolling out on the motorcycle at Wake Forest. Like it's about all that's
Yeah,
gonna happen. But
yeah. No,
yeah,
I'll
it's
tell you another like post game. It's really insane. So you wrap things up at the stadium. You shower up. You're getting on the buses, and you get in your bus. As you're getting on, they're handing you like a to-go box, like you said,
hmm
Chick-fil-A, whatever it is. And so you get on the bus. You're like, oh, I'm about to eat this. It's gonna be good. You're about to go to the airport. You get on the plane, right? You get to the plane, you don't go through security. You pull up on the tarmac, you get up on the plane. There's 2 cheeseburgers sitting for you in your seat with a bag of Gatorade, chips, cookie. And I'm like,
good
I'm in
Lord,
heaven.
every step of the way.
It's
Yeah, there
crazy,
was
man.
when I was in college, we got to charter one flight. I think we were going to play. I think we were going to Northern Illinois one year, and I think I was working for the team by this point. But I remember we got to charter the flight, take off. It's nice, like you said, no security. We're just rocking and rolling. And I'll never forget when we landed. We were just at some random airstrip in the middle of wherever Illinois, just cornfields everywhere. Touched the plane down, bus in, like you said. We had some snack bags, it was doing it right. It was a money game for us. Like we knew we were getting paid two
Yeah.
hundred thousand dollars to go play, so we're gonna do it right. But like if we were going to play let's see, if we were going to play Monmouth, who's in New Jersey, and obviously we can't drive that and it makes sense, so we're gonna get on a plane. Well, we didn't have, I went to Presbyterian College, small town, South Carolina. The nearest major airport, you're either looking at Charlotte or Atlanta because it was too expensive to fly out of like the mid-size airport, GSP,
Mhm.
that was 45 minutes up the road. So we got everybody charter buses and we ride up to Charlotte and we put an entire football team, support staff, coaches, VIP boosters, whatever, through security.
You went through
Like I'm
TSA with all them?
went through TSA security with all that. Like they gave us bag tags so because they knew stuff was going to get screwed up, and we brought it all. Now the guys that had actual like the equipment, they were on a box truck driving up. Like
Yeah.
they had to make the drive, but everybody else, we are flying commercial, baby, and
That's
it
insane.
was insane. But
I can't even. You know who deserves a shout out is these operations people that but they don't know your name, but they work for whatever team. They're the ones that organize all that stuff. I cannot imagine the headache
oh,
dealing
dude,
with.
I don't even want to know. And like handling the budgets and like just coordinating, like you said, the food, how much food, like it can
Yeah,
be a headache.
airplanes, hotels, buses, just everything that goes into it. I mean, shout out to y'all, but jeez, I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
they're doing some
Did
grunt
y'all
work
do
now.
did y'all do per diem when you started working there?
Um, that's a great question. I don't remember. I remember the vouchers for like the hotel meals, but I don't remember like a set, $20 bill or whatever, and that's supposed to cover your
Yeah,
meals. I
because
don't remember that. I think we just had the little clip, the little. I just remember like your little red tickets, and that's how we got our
yeah.
food.
So like at home games at Clemson, you'd get the support staff, student workers, whatever, would get per diem for home and away games, and it's supposed to cover like meals, like you said, but they feed you, so it's like whatever. You got like $15 for a home game, so nothing crazy. But an away game, like depending where you were going, like we went to Miami, play the Hurricanes. It was like $70, just
Ooh,
casual. And
dude.
as a worker, we show up, we set up, we're ready to go. Rest of the night is yours. You don't report back until you go to the game tomorrow.
Yeah. So you got some
And
free
I'm
time. That's some
$70
money to
richer.
spend. Yeah.
It's over, But
Dude, that's a
yeah,
topic for another day. We need to find a guest we can get on here, maybe that does all the budgeting and stuff like that, and we can
yeah,
make it happen.
that's
Well,
great.
dude, I appreciate your time tonight. Happy birthday, by the
Yeah,
way. Again,
appreciate it.
appreciate you staying up late. We tried to do a little live action tonight on TikTok, on my TikTok page at Coach Wardlaw. Did also go live on the YouTube channel at Coach Wardlaw on YouTube. And, always, guys, be sure to drop comments, give us some questions, some ideas for some topics we can kind of talk about on the show. And be sure you check out Fourth and Ward everywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple. I don't know where all you can get podcasts nowadays. Amazon probably got something. And, of course, the full videos on YouTube. But, yeah, we appreciate your time tonight, guys.
See y'all.
Yeah, take it easy.